The buck was a ghost, a legend, never captured on a trail camera and never seen by another hunter, except for 2 times in 2 years when Phil Phillips and his cameraman caught him on film, only to watch him disappear out of bow range. Now, to say Phil was obsessed with this deer is an understatement. It became his mission, and for 3 years, he spent 59 days hunting this elusive buck. This is a story about the buck Phil simply called the Giant, because it was the only name that fit. See how persistence pays off on this week's episode of Phil Phillips Unleashed.
Hunting has always been my way of life. It's my profession, it's my passion. It's what I do best. My life's been captured on film so I could share it with you. I'm Phil Phillips, and this is my story. I hope you'll join me.
I'm a cowboy, I'm a worldwide cowboy, and there ain't no way you're ever gonna slow me down. I said, I said,
The first time I saw the Giant, he just came into view, and he totally shocked me. He never got in bow range, but he chased the doe in front of me for quite a while. I knew right then and there, this was a buck I was totally committed to hunting for as long as it took.
That is one of the biggest deer, well, you probably will ever see alive. Deers I'll ever see alive. I just hope it's one of the biggest deer I ever see not alive here in a little while. If that doe comes back this way, he's sticking to her like glue. He's a monster. Going the other way. Unbelievable. He's not as wide as I thought, but he's a monster.
Well, I became totally obsessed with this buck. I put trail cameras everywhere. I sat in a tree stand for 27 more days. I never saw the buck, and I never got a single picture on a trail camera. The first 2 years I hunted this deer, I passed up several great bucks, including this massive buck that stopped only 30 yards from my ground blind. I had bucks fighting under my tree stand and dozens of bucks in bow range that never even tempted me to draw my bow. I was totally committed to hunting the Giant. Well, the second year, I started scouting early, put trail cameras everywhere. And when the rut came in, I climbed in a stand And on the second evening, I saw the buck, but it was just too dark to shoot. 29 days later, I'd never seen the buck again, and we never got a single picture on a trail camera.
When we come back from commercial break, the story of Phil's quest for the giant buck continues. Phil Phillips Unleashed is brought to you by ScentLock, Easton, Matthews, catch us if you can, Burris Optics, New Archery Products, in Mississippi, find your true south. This segment was sponsored by Wildlife Research Center and Scent Killer Gold. Phil is hunting the giant, a giant Kansas whitetail that's been very elusive. But Phil knows whitetails, and he's extremely patient.
For 2 years, I sat in the same tree stands and ground blinds where I knew the giant lived. I saw bucks fight. I passed up bucks most guys would love to get a shot at. I saw everything a bow hunter can imagine, but I only got one glimpse that one evening of the giant buck on that second season.
Let's take a minute and let Phil Phillips tell us how his bow is set up.
You know, the one question I get most often on emails, Facebook, and even when I bump into people at the shows is what equipment I'm shooting the current year and why. And Matthews always makes a fantastic product, and they've never built a bow that I didn't really enjoy shooting, but I'm really excited about this fall. They've got two new bows out, the Matthews Creed and the Matthews Chill. And I'm showing you the Chill here. It's a 2-cam bow. It's a offshoot of the Monster that I shot my biggest whitetail with a year or so ago. Super lightweight. It's a little bit faster than the Creed. So for hunting out west where I do, where you're hunting antelope, goats, sheep, elk, a little bit of chance for longer shots. It's super accurate at longer ranges. And I got it paired off with the injection Easton shafts. They're a carbon shaft, small diameter, but with a new technology, they've got an insert instead of an outsert. It's called Deep 6, and it pairs off perfectly with this NAP kill zone. This combination creates super accuracy and the ultimate penetration of any hunting arrow I've ever shot. This year, I'm really recommending either the Chill or the Creed. With the injection shafts, the NAP kill zone broadheads, you can't go wrong.
Back in the stand, during the second season of hunting the giant, Phil saw and passed up a number of great bucks. But the giant buck never reappeared. He closed out the season in Kansas more determined than ever to come back next year and try again.
At this point, I had 58 days invested in hunting one buck. Now I had to look forward to next season and get prepared. I shot my bow more than ever. I got my scent control clothes and scent sprays in order, hung my trail cameras, and now I was just waiting for the rut to start. You know, it doesn't matter what I'm hunting or what weapon I choose, whether it be a bow, muzzleloader, or rifle. I always want to get as close to my game as possible, and scent control is a major factor, and that's why I choose Scent Killer Gold from Wildlife Research Center. Scent Killer Gold with Hunt Dry technology. Apply it, dry it, and go hunt.
If you'd like to book a guided big game hunt like the one featured in this show, give Steve's Outdoor Adventures a call. The toll-free number and website address are listed on the screen. And Steve will personally help you book the hunting or fishing trip of a lifetime. Find out if Phil gets a shot at this monster Kansas buck when we come back from this short commercial break. This segment was sponsored by Wildlife Research Center and Scent Killer Gold. Before we went to commercial break, Phil Phillips had introduced us to the giant, a deer he'd been hunting for the last 2 years. Now in his 3rd season, Phil is more determined than ever.
I tell you what, folks, it's my first night in Kansas. This is probably one of the days I look most forward to all year. We've set up these stands today. You've probably seen it on High Places show over the last 2 years. The second day, I've had a giant 200-ish 10-point come by. Haven't got a shot either time. Hunted the whole rest of the season, 28 days one year, 30 the next. Never saw him again. I think he's figured out the tree stand we were in, so I moved it 150 yards to this little bushy tree. Just hung the stand this morning. My feet are probably only 8 feet off the ground, but it's triple truck cottonwood, and we're really well hidden. And the ground where it's been crossing is below us. It's early enough, I don't mind talking a little bit, but here in the next little while, I hope we see a giant. It's a great spot.
This season started just like the previous 2. We're hunting in the same area we knew the giant buck lived. The only difference was I hung a tree stand in a small cottonwood in a spot the giant buck walked past the previous 2 years. The only 2 times we ever saw him. I knew this was going to be a great hunt because as soon as we got in the stand, we started seeing deer. As the sun went down, the deer activity picked up. And there he was, coming right at me.
I just smoked what I think was my 200-ish inch deer last year and the year before.
hunted him almost 60 days. I think he's just an 8-point this year. But it's got to be the same buck. His 2s and 3s are unbelievable. And I'm pretty sure I just put it on him. First afternoon. The last 2 years, it was the second day. I moved the stand. I told everybody I'm going to shoot that buck out of this new tree because he's got my old spot figured out. That doe was coming. I said, she's moving like something's pushing her. Gary said, big buck. And I saw him come straight at me. And the minute I saw him, I knew it was the same deer. He is so smart. He hazed past her. And you'll hear my heart pounding on the video, I swear. He stood behind this bush at 30 yards forever. And I didn't move. I knew he had to be there. And finally his nose stuck out. I adjusted my sight. And he came out just almost to 40 yards. Holy cow.
Awesome.
Time to go find a big deer, man.
When we come back from commercial break, Phil Phillips puts his hands on the deer he's hunted for 3 years.
Look at that.
Phil Phillips Unleashed is brought to you by Scentlock, Easton, Matthews, catch us if you can, Burris Optics, New Archery Products, in Mississippi, find your true south. Before we went to commercial break, Phil had arrowed the buck of a lifetime. Now it's time to recover the massive Kansas whitetail.
But I tell you, I think I just killed a monster with a monster. I'm not being quiet because I don't think I need to, but at a daylight, so let's go get on the blood trail and see if we can go find that big guy. Whew. See where he dug out right here? That it looks like an elk track, man. The arrow probably is right here somewhere, but we'll come back for that because I saw him make a hook. There's no way that deer went 100 yards, there's no way. Already got blood. I'm digging through here. Oh yeah, look at this. This is good, this is good, this is good. Man. Over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, over here. Here. I turn back into the thick stuff and make us work for it. Oh, geez! He's right there. I thought he was gonna. That scared me. I thought, oh no, he got back into this jungle, but he didn't. Oh! I don't know if I can show you guys this. You may not be able to take it. I can't take it. Thank you, God. I'm not excited. Folks, I'll tell you, you can see that this isn't the best deal in the world. But right there is a buck that I've hunted for, well, today was the 59th day I've hunted this deer. And we had a major drought, and believe it or not, he's gone down, but he is still an absolute, I mean, he's a giant. Got 14-inch, 15-inch 2s, 10 or 12-inch 3s. You know, I think he was in the upper 190s the last couple of years. Actually, 2 years ago, I thought he was pushing 200. Last year, I thought he was 190-ish, and this year, you know, this point's almost gone, but it doesn't matter. He's the giant that I've been after. Pretty cool. Look at that. Drug him out of the weeds there so you could see him. But, well, we were running out of daylight, so we decided to get some lights on the situation. Probably give you another look at him in the morning too, but I am very excited. I've got a grand total of an hour and a half invested in my Kansas trip this year. Dang, hate wasting a good tag like that quick, but I think it was worth it.
What a fantastic deer in a 3-year quest for a giant buck. You know, I've still got that same property, and as a matter of fact, we lease 43,000 more acres with 14 miles river bottom, where we know that same genetic line exists. So I'll have more giant bucks to hunt. And if you're interested in booking a hunt to hunt one of these giant whitetails yourself, check us out at thebowhunter.com. Well, I sure hope you enjoyed today's show, and I hope you'll tune in again next time. Until then, I'm your host, Phil Phillips, and always remember these 3 things. Be safe, practice good conservation, and always leave it better than you found it. We'll see you next time.
As an accomplished bow hunter, Phil has taken many great trophies, but none will be more remembered or deserved than this Kansas whitetail. Remember to join us again next week for another exciting episode of Phil Phillips Unleashed.
I'm a cowboy. I'm a worldwide cowboy. And there ain't no way you're ever gonna slow me down. I said, hoo. I said, hoo.
This has been a Steve's Outdoor Adventures production.